Is that it? Oh, yeah, there we go. Now it's actually detecting the mic. Okay, hello there. I don't know how many people are watching. If you're watching, please use the chat. Let's just get started, shall we? There's a lot to talk about in the news. I don't know if I want to, though. I, Sorry, this week has been midterms. So, yeah, I haven't been keeping as up to date as I probably should. Although I've been trying to get back into reading the news. Ah. So, if anyone is watching and they want me to talk about a certain topic, please feel free to send me the link through whatever means you want to. Or just mention it in the chat, I'll look it up if you want. Is that? Huh. I've probably said this already in a previous stream. But, this, this blue one, this blue origami looks darker in the stream than it actually is. That's probably because I bought a cheap camera. It's cheap, but it's decent. I mean, it isn't the best camera, but it's okay. Spring break is next week. I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish this by sometime around then. Okay. So, where should I begin? Uh, hmm. The Senate recently voted on a bill that would cripple internet privacy. Thankfully, I have a lifetime subscription to a VPN. So, I should be okay, theoretically. I don't use it for the stream, but, I mean, I should be able to. I should be able to maintain my privacy if I so choose. Luckily, said bill has, I don't believe it's passed the House yet. And we're not sure if the House is actually ever going to take it up, so. What's the VPN that I use? Windescribe. The only logs that it keeps is how much data you use. And they have like servers all over the place. Problem is, if I use their VPN, then yeah, it slows my internet connection down a bit. The service I use isn't known for selling data to or giving to the government. Should be. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly their privacy policy is, but it's from what I understand, they're. I mean, if I wanted something that was more private, I could probably get it. But I got the lifetime subscription for about $40 when it was on sale. So yeah, I can't really complain too much. And the speeds, well, yeah, it's a VPN, so it slows down. It's not exactly the best, but it's decent. I can't. Lately, I haven't been using their Japan server anyway. I haven't been able to watch 1080p videos on YouTube. I used to be able to. I'm not sure what happened. Although I might buy another subscription or two to a different VPN. If you go on the Dig store, sometimes you get like the lifetime subscriptions to different VPNs. Make sure you be very careful about which VPNs you buy, though, because not all of them have privacy policies that are that good. I actually looked up what Windscribe's privacy policy and what their data logging policy was before. Well, actually, I looked up their data logging policy, not really their privacy policy, but still, look up at least the data logging policy. And Windscribe was they log the amount of data you use, as in X megabytes or X gigabytes or whatever. But that's about it. I seriously hope that the bill doesn't pass the House. I mean, holy shit. I do value my privacy. I mean, sometimes it might not seem that, but I do value it. There's a reason why I have a Facebook, but other than the streams, it just sits. For Windescribe, if you connect to a US server, I don't know. I mostly connect to the Japan server, and it slows down the connection. And I'll tell you what I can't do. I am not able to watch 1080p video on YouTube, but I am able to watch I'm able to watch it in like 720p. And of course, I actually technically can watch 1080p. I just gotta wait for it to buffer. It's just like if I want it to go smoothly, I have to, put it down to 720p. Hey! Katz Alexander. So yeah, I'll probably buy a subscription to a different VPN eventually. I gotta get the money to be able to afford it and a job. It's not that I'm not happy with Windscribe, it's that my dad uses it to get around the geo-blocking. And yes, there is actually a difference between 720p and 1080p. It can be hard to tell sometimes if you're on a 720p screen, but if you're on a 1080p screen, you can tell. And actually, if the video is recorded in 1080p, it can also make a difference. I believe this stream is in it's in 720p, but that's only because, like, I can't, my screen is only 720p, and I don't want to do, I'm not sure if this thing can handle 1080p streaming. Anyway, yeah, I might buy a different subscription to a different VPN service, mainly because my dad uses Windscribe for getting around some geo-blocking, so he goes on some Japanese websites, and sometimes they say, you must be in Japan to use this. And supposedly, some websites have caught on to Windscribe's thing and have started blocking it, saying you cannot access this from your IP. So it's always, if you're using VPNs to get around geo-blocking, yeah, it's always a good idea to have at least a few backups. Preferably lifetime subscriptions instead of monthly subscriptions, because, yeah. And yes, they do offer lifetime subscriptions to certain VPNs. Usually it's not like the super well-known ones, but some of them do offer it. Also, be sure to read the fine print when buying a lifetime subscription to a VPN. Like, for Windscribes, the fine print of the lifetime subscription says that, while it technically is a lifetime subscription, after 10 years, there's a chance that it will expire. It will not expire if you contact their customer support and tell them, I want my VPN service to continue. And they have said they are considering automatic renewals, but no, I don't think there's been actual official word from the company on that yet. Okay, so 2, 3. I'm not a fan of how, in modern times, actually, in these days, things seems to be heading towards having everything out in the open. Sometimes you don't want everything out in the open. It's scary what people can do sometimes. I think Tom Scott did a video. How many cranes have I folded? I can tell you, just give me a moment. As of today, I folded 4 more, so 4 plus 830. 834? Well, 4 including this one that I'm folding right now. Okay. Wait. Oh! Oh, there's a cat there! Oh, I didn't notice that until now. Sorry about that. Some of the water went down the wrong way. Oi. Seems to be happening a lot for me lately. Oh, and the cat is going. Thankfully, that means I don't have to worry about him bothering us. Okay, so 4. How much do I have on here? Oh, I guess I might have to get the other one today. Oh, 1 watching. Or is it just that they fell behind? I have no idea. Ah. Oh yeah. Whew. So Friday is when the House will vote on the Republican healthcare plan. It's a plan I'm not a fan of. TFW bad at origami. It took a while for me to be able to do this. Like, wow. You should have seen me try to fold cranes when I was in elementary school. Holy shit. And what did I just say? Okay, I think I screwed that up, so I'm gonna try to say it again. You should have seen me when I was in elementary school trying to fold cranes. Holy shit, that was bad. I didn't know how to, it was one of the folds that I just did not know how to do. As a matter of fact, I'm getting up to that fold now. This fold, I just had no clue how to do it. It took me so long to figure it out. And yeah, this is the one that finishes the wings. And it's probably the hardest fold out of all the folds. The Bitcoin exchange, Zaif emailed me. Yeah, I have an account on Zaif. If you're wondering why I have an account on some random Bitcoin exchange that nobody has heard of called Zaif, it's because that is the one that let me register, and then I would have been able to trade Bitcoin and Japanese yen without any issues. Unfortunately, they've announced that they are going to have a policy where they require you to verify that you are who the hell you say you are. I don't know if... Not gonna lie, I don't live in Japan, so I don't know if my account is gonna be allowed to stay. They were saying that like some functionality may be disabled if you don't have your account fully, if you don't have your identity confirmed. Now, I know some people in the Bitcoin community are going to be like, oh my god, this is an invasion of privacy, but there are reasons why they do this. And besides, give them some time. If privacy really does become a strong part of the Bitcoin community, then eventually it will probably be accommodated in the law. It just takes a while. Bitcoin is new. No country has figured it out. I believe the reason why Zaif is having that new identity confirmation policy is that Japan passed a law. I can't remember what the law is called. But yeah, Japan passed a law and the exchange is based in Japan, so they have to follow Japanese law. It's as simple as that. Speaking of Bitcoin exchanges, I gotta close my Coinbase account. Coinbase is like probably, at least in the United States, the most common Bitcoin wallet service and exchange you can buy Bitcoins with, Coinbase. But they announced that they will no longer be serving customers who live in Hawaii. What are Japanese politics like? It's weird. It's different from U.S. politics. I can't say much about it in comparison to other countries, but in Japanese politics is very different compared to the United States. Like, for example, in the United States, you have people talk a lot about small government and how the government should stay out of things. And to a certain extent, I can see what they're saying. But in Japan, you don't really have this entire movement based around the government should be as small as possible. I mean, you have people in the United States who say that the government should not do anything when it comes to healthcare and just let the free markets reign. In Japan, I mean, while some people hold that view, none of the mainstream parties have that. Like, all the parties that are mainstream in Japan do not hold that view. When they are asked about any healthcare problems, the discussion immediately goes to what can the government do to help solve this problem. It's also weird because in most countries, you have at least like two parties that are dominant. But in Japan, you kind of don't know. That's not to say Japan is a authoritarian. It's not authoritarian, but hold on. Oh my god. Anyway, but let's just say the Liberal Democratic Party kind of has an advantage when it comes to any election in Japan. So if the Liberal Democratic Party ever gets defeated, that is like, holy shit. For the longest time, Japan was actually a one-party dominant state. One-party dominant being you have one party that kind of wins every single time. Kind of like what you have in Singapore. So yeah, for the longest time in Japan, it's like the Liberal Democratic Party was the dominant party without any question, and there was like no chance any other party would win. And then the 90s came, and then that just flipped over on its head. Yeah, I think it wasn't until a few election cycles ago that the Liberal Democratic Party came back. DPR. Oh yeah, before. Well, okay. Shin Abe has had 2 terms so far. His first term, it was like after the 90s, I believe it was. There was like a forced coalition between the Liberal Democratic Party and the Socialist Party. And then the Socialist Party kind of lost support. The Liberal Democratic Party came back for a little bit, and then they lost support. And then, yeah, that's when you saw the rise of the Democratic Party of Japan. And then, for the longest time, Abe wasn't in politics, but then he made a comeback. And I don't agree with all of Abe's policies, but there's a few things that I can see what he's saying. The one thing that bothers me, though, is that the opposition parties in Japan have not really been able to offer anything that voters can consider, like, to be good. So, you have a lot of people who don't like Abe, but they look at the other options and it's just like, you're all shit too. Hopefully, Renho, the new leader of the Democratic Party of Japan, they call themselves the Democratic Party, but like the real translation should be Democratic Progressive Party. Min Shinto, that's what it means. I hope that Min Shinto will be able to actually turn the party around in the next election cycle. Mainly because I think like the Liberal Democratic Party of Japan needs a good kick in the butt in order to get their act together. Renho is someone who... Renho was like... Ooh. There was a lot of controversy when she was elected as head of the Democratic Party of Japan. Oh my god. Because Japan does not allow dual citizenship, and she thought she had gotten rid of her Taiwanese citizenship. Yes, she is ethnically Taiwanese, but apparently she hadn't. So yeah, there was a problem about that, but she said she started the process of getting rid of her Taiwanese citizenship. Not sure how long that's gonna be, but eventually it's gonna happen. What really, what really strikes me is that when this whole controversy came out, the Liberal Democratic Party was like, "Oh, vote for, oh, we have no members that have dual citizenship," and then like literally about a few days after that, one of their members came out and is like, I have dual citizenship with them. I have dual citizenship. I also have U.S. citizenship." And it's like, oh, yeah, don't check before you say things like that, please. There have been a few ongoing controversies in Japan right now. Like the Liberal Democratic Party is trying to push through a proposal for a reform to Japan's terrorism laws. So I'm not sure how that'll go. People are saying that the law that they're proposing is overly broad. I'm not sure about that myself. 2, 4, 6, 7 folded today. Politics in general is a meme. Oh yeah, sometimes you get hilarious stuff. Oh yeah, that just reminded me of a random story. One time I was browsing the App Store for reasons that are beyond me. I was just browsing randomly in the App Store, and then I found like an app. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the stupidest game I've ever seen on the App Store. A Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was like, you play as Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and it's like, you know how there's those games where your character jumps and then you need to jump on the right platforms so you can jump higher and higher and higher and higher? Yeah, it was one of those games, except the person jumping was Prime Minister Abe. That Ice Climbers, I don't know if I've played that one. It's one of those. Hold on, let me see. App Store. I mean, it could be that. I'm not sure what the original one is called. So. Oh my god, I got another email. Yeah, but with Abe. Yeah, but with Abe. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I saw that and was just like, why does this exist? Why does this need to exist? The answer is it doesn't. Someone just made it. You get some weird stuff coming from Japan. Although I'm willing to bet from the perspective of someone who lives in Japan, it's perfectly normal. I mean, it is weird sometimes what you see in Japan. I think in the city of Tokyo there was like a big controversy going a little while ago over one of the buildings that was built there. Let's just say it was not built up to safety standards. You can look up the exact specifics if you want. Holy shit. Like, I think the mayor of Tokyo was not happy about it. It was like there was a plan that the building was supposed to follow, and it did not follow that plan at all. A weird Japanese Trump t-shirts. I don't know. I've never heard of there being Trump t-shirts in Japan. I remember someone made a commercial for like Donald Trump, and it was meant to be like an anime thing. It was the weirdest fucking thing I had ever seen. It was just like, what am I watching? At least it wasn't like the that's not too far on the weird side of YouTube, but it was still like, what? Two, four, six, eight. So, what else? I wonder if there's anything new on my feed for Japanese politics. What? Most of these are not stuff that I understand. Or at least not much. There's not much that seems interesting right now. Nothing too weird going on in Japanese politics right now. Campaign season in Japan can be weird. I know this is kind of... I'm just trying to go off the topic of Japanese politics. I don't know how it is in countries other than the US and Japan, but I know in America, you don't see... Well, what you see in Japan is like sometimes the political parties, they get these big vans with their party name on it, and people are literally standing on the roof, and they go about, they like drive it down the streets of the city, screaming their message off of like megaphones and speakers, and saying, "Vote for our party." It's weird. Generally speaking, you only see that during campaign season in Japan. Although occasionally you will, usually if you see it and it's outside of campaign season, it's a far-right group that is super scary, and just don't mess with them. Sometimes they have connections with the Yakuza, so don't mess with them. The only people in Japan who is able to mess with those far-right groups is the police. And believe me, the police have drawn the ire of those far-right groups in the past. That's rare in the US. You don't see the... I don't know why you don't see people driving around in the vans with... Actually, no, I wonder. I would think that if you're driving around in the van with someone on the top blaring your campaign message at the with at really loud volume, I would think that someone would probably complain if you're in America. In Japan, they don't mind because usually they don't go. Number one, usually they don't go about it at night, and number two, usually they don't stay in one place. They just keep driving in a set route, and usually it's like you'll see them, and unless it's like a rally, unless they're actually doing a campaign rally, then they will stay in a place for a little while. Two, four, six, eight, nine. Hold on one moment. Tried to get one of my other friends to watch this, but he also has a bad internet connection. Oh my god, he has a name for it! Okay, so, for those of you who are not familiar, whenever I run out of origami in a certain paper thing, usually at the bottom of whatever origami thing I'm taking origami from, there's a piece of cardboard, because they don't want the origami, like, folding, and, getting folded and bent when you're not using it to make anything. So yeah, they put a piece of cardboard at the bottom so that it doesn't do that. I've taken those, or at least some of those, and in the last few episodes, at least the last few streams. Actually, no, it was a while ago that I last did it, but at the beginning, whenever I ran out, I would take that cardboard and fold it into a cardboard crane. You're not supposed to do that, but I did it, 'cause I can. There was another thing in campaign season in Japan a while ago. This was a long time ago, but if you're familiar with at least a little bit of Japanese internet culture, you should have at least heard of Hatsune Miku, the Vocaloid. Yes, I listen to Vocaloid music a lot. Anyway, the point is the point is not about Vocaloid. It's I think a while ago, one of the parties in Japan, they decided they wanted to try and appeal to young people more. So, they took Hatsune Miku's voice, and they made a campaign song with it. And then they realized they were going to try and use Hatsune Miku's image, but then the company that owns Hatsune Miku was like, no! You cannot use her character for political purposes. So they just played the music with the other character. It was It was weird. When just hearing this mechanical, I mean, you can hear it's not a human. It's a software-generated song, and it's just hearing that for a campaign rally, for a campaign song. Holy shit! 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You hate it when political parties try to be hip and cool. I mean, it's okay to try and appeal to the youth, though. That can actually help a party. But if you're going to do it right. You know what I mean? Like, when they screw up, it's just so cringy. It's like, if you're gonna try and appeal to the youth, don't do it by trying to be hip and cool. Do it by, actually addressing the issues that affect the youth. In the US primaries, most young people voted for an 80-year-old Jew who probably... Bernie Sanders, I did not vote for Bernie Sanders. And you're probably talking about in the primaries, because in the primaries, yeah, the youth especially were really... They felt the burn, as people say. I'm just gonna say this, but if it wasn't for the fact that I didn't have much confidence in Bernie's ability to actually get his promises into actual hard if he becomes president, I was skeptical about whether he'd actually be able to do what he promised. If it wasn't for that, I probably would have been a full Bernie supporter. I mean, well, there's a lot of things that he promised that, I liked a lot. But no, the superdelegates decided that they were going to go for Clinton. The worst choice the Democrats could have possibly made. Yeah, Bernie Sanders was definitely better than Clinton and Trump. Oh my god. I mean, Clinton, her campaign promises, while not my, my ideal, it was yeah, I could get behind him. But it's just, she has so much scandals. Holy shit. It's no, Clinton has too much scandals. Not to mention, there's the whole question of, what was she telling the bankers in those private campaign, in those private meetings the private speeches she told the bankers, what was she saying? And then Trump is just, for me anyway, no. To be completely honest, if I had to choose, if I were somehow able to choose in the last election who the Democratic Party nominated for the for their candidate for president, I would have probably chosen Joe Biden. But in the end, he decided he was not going to run. So, yeah, that's kind of a moot point. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Anyway, if you ask me, Clinton was just probably the biggest mistake that Democrats have made in a long time. That just ended bad for Democrats. Jim Webb. Is that the guy who I think it is? Yeah, that guy. Okay, it is who I think it is. I wasn't a big fan of him, but I would have definitely voted for him if he was nominated. I would have voted for him. I mean, he's not my ideal, but he was okay. I mean, there's a few things I didn't like about him. The best thing I can say is that during the debates anyway, he made some really good points. I mean, I didn't necessarily agree with some of the stuff that he was saying, but I can admit that he had points. Might not have been my perfect candidate, but I would have picked him over Trump any day. I don't know if I would have picked him over Clinton, mainly because I was never a big fan of Jim Webb's policy proposals. But at the same time, because of how scandal-ridden Clinton is, he would have been a very tempting choice. And then like I watched some of the Democratic debates, and it's just like I think it was like Martin O'Malley. He was just like he seemed like Clinton 2.0 but without the scandals. But he was just like I don't know. He would say he would make promises, and then I would just be like, I don't know. He'd make promises, and he'd say stuff that I agree with him, but for some reason he had no energy. There was no. There was I don't know. I watched him speak, and it's like, well, I agree with what he's saying, but for some reason, I'm not motivated to vote for him at all. Period. I don't know. That was weird. Okay. Part of me hopes that Sanders runs again in 2020, but he's kind of getting old. Kind of getting old, yeah. Yeah, maybe that would have been true years ago, but like, no, he's old. And, I don't know if he's ever gonna be able to. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I don't know. Let's just. How can I say this politely? I don't think there is a way to say this politely. I'm not sure how many years he has left. Yeah, that's probably the best way I can put it. I am not sure how many years Sanders has left. I mean, he's kind of, yeah. The one thing that ticks me off is that some of the Democratic establishment is acting like they learned nothing from the last election. It's like, really? Come on. The 2016 elections should have been something that Democrats, they should have had that in the bag. Trump should have been the easiest candidate to beat, and they screwed it up. Come on. Trump lost the popular vote. Yeah, but that's not the way the Electoral College works. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Electoral College, and I know there is a lot of Americans who will get mad at me for saying that, but I'll say it. I am not a big fan of the Electoral College because of things like, uh, sometimes the minority can win the election. What? That doesn't... Seriously? I like the electoral system used in Germany, that is mixed member proportional. That is for the legislature, and in terms of voting for the executive, I am in favor of the alternative vote. In other words, instead of saying I want to vote for person X, and then you only have one vote and that's the only vote you can cast, I prefer the method of you rank the candidates in order of your most preferred to least preferred. And your most preferred candidate gets your vote first, and if that candidate doesn't win, then your vote gets transferred to your second choice, and if your second choice doesn't work, to your third choice, and so on and so forth. Yeah, Electoral College made sense a long time ago, but nowadays, no. I mean, it made sense in the day and age when like, the quickest way to get word about who won your state, it was to get someone on horseback, send them on the journey on horseback, and then say, "Godspeed, good sir," and hope they didn't die of dysentery. Yes, I stole that from CGP Grey. Okay, so how many have I folded so far? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. And it's just the cardboard. Okay, I have another bag of origami coming right up. Hold on one moment. I'll be right back. There it is. That's a lot of origami. 500. 500 sheets. Oh yeah, in 2012, Trump did complain about the Electoral College. And then suddenly, he complained about it because he thought that, like, if I remember correctly, it was that he thought, uh, Obama won the election but lost the popular vote, which was not the case. I mean, Obama was declared the winner before the entire popular vote was counted, and at the time he was declared the winner, there was like the entire he was losing in the popular vote, but by the time all the votes had been counted, he won. I'm betting that Trump didn't look at the first part where it's like, oh no, all the votes have been counted, but Obama's been declared the winner and he lost the popular vote, and then he complained. And then suddenly it votes him into power and he has no complaints about it. And in fact, he says, oh no, I won the popular vote. No, he didn't. He claims that millions of people voted illegally in the election. No, that voter fraud is not as big of a problem as people say it is. At least not in the United States. It is a problem in other countries, certain other countries, but not in the United States. Watching Trump is like, wow, he has problems with everything until it works in his favor. Then he has no problems with it. There's no evidence of it. I mean, he's saying it did happen. The burden of proof is on him. There were a few isolated cases of voter fraud, but it was not on a wide scale. As far as I can tell, anyway, it was not on a widespread scale. Certainly not on the level that Trump tries to suggest that it was on. What really irritates me, though, is that some Trump supporters try and say that, oh, if you don't count California and New York, Trump won the popular vote. But it's like, the problem with that is, like, California and New York are, like, 10% of the population. So are they trying to say that 10% of the population doesn't matter or something? I live in Hawaii, solid blue state, so Clinton won it hands down. There was like, she didn't even need to campaign here, although it's irritating a little bit that she didn't campaign here. The opinion of people who doesn't agree with me don't matter. Oh, wow. As sad as that statement is, it's surprising the amount of people who seem to have it. Just because they don't agree with you doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to them. Civil political discourse can only be done if you listen to someone who disagrees with you and respond to them in a way that is respectful to them. There's no way it can work otherwise. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And yeah, Clinton probably didn't even think of Hawaii. Hawaii has been, No, the thing is, with the Electoral College, swing states matter way more than safe states do. So, swing states get all of the visits from the politicians, but safe states get, like, none. And Hawaii is a safe state for Democrats. Ever since, I think it was the 1950s or 60s, one or the other, Hawaii has been a solid blue state. And there's a reason for that. It's because, before that, the, Republican Party was in... Let's just say they were in cahoots with the huge sugar plantation that dominated Hawaii. And people were not... they were not fond of the sugar plantations, but for the longest time, the sugar plantations held enough power to where any opposition, it didn't matter. And then after World War II, all the veterans came back to Hawaii, and they were like, no, we ain't going to work on the plantations, screw you. We're going to use the GI Bill and get an actual education and vote in the elections. And that was basically the Republican Party, the start of the end of the Republican Party in Hawaii. They, don't get me wrong, they exist in Hawaii. Republicans are in Hawaii. It's just they are not the majority, and the Republican Party of Hawaii is very different from the Republican Party that you see in the mainland. And yeah, when people think of the United States, they generally don't think of tropical islands. But it's probably... But hey, that could change. I don't know. Puerto Rico is apparently... Or at least there are some people in Puerto Rico who are looking for statehood. I don't know how that would go, considering Puerto Rico has a lot of problems, and Republicans are looking at Puerto Rico and are just saying, like, no, deal with the problems first. How are they different? The Republican Party in Hawaii is a lot more moderate than what you see on the mainland. Of course, there are, like, some exceptions, but there are exceptions everywhere. So yeah, the Republican Party in Hawaii, they do have, yeah, they do have some things in common with the mainland, so they are pro-life. They do value gun rights, but you see that, and they have all those things, but they're a lot more moderate than what you see on the mainland, or at least in some places on the mainland. I think in my local election for the mayor of Honolulu, I actually voted for the Republican candidate, although that was less because I liked what the Republican candidate was suggesting, and more because the Democratic candidate, I had a lot of problems with him. Let's see. He started the Honolulu Rail project, and then that's been just a nightmare. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of the rail. It's been handled so poorly. And then newspapers tried to interview him about his views, and then he would not answer any of their questions. Meanwhile, the Republican candidate answered all their questions. No, I didn't agree with everything he said, but at least he answered the questions and was open about his beliefs. Oh my god. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Should I go on? I've been streaming for an hour. Screw it, I will. And then it really irritated me how much the Democratic candidate just did not how little he talked to the media. He went on the debates, yeah, but wow. Hawaii as a whole is different from the mainland. I mean, yeah, it's separated from the mainland with a fucking ocean. That's kind of expected, but still, you'd be surprised. People are a lot more. I feel like people in Hawaii are a lot more chill than people on the mainland. At least about certain things, anyway. I think it was a congresswoman from Hawaii that was bashed by the Democratic Party on the mainland because she dared to have a meeting with Trump before he got inaugurated. Come on, people. Just because she's a Democrat doesn't mean she can't talk with the president-elect. I mean, it's the president-elect. You kind of got to talk with the president-elect if you want any of your ideas to even have a remote chance of becoming a reality. Is it gonna help if the person is of the other party? No, it doesn't help. But even if they're of the other party, you should at least talk with them. But nope, according to some Democrats on the mainland, no talking with Trump whatsoever. I can't remember her name. Representative from Hawaii. That should give me what it is. Tulsi Gabbard, yes, that's her name. I don't think she represents the district that I'm in, but she does represent Hawaii in the House. And if she wants to try and see if any of what the Democrats want to have happen can possibly be worked on under Trump, why is that a bad thing? People just need to chill when it comes to politics. Ah, SJWs. Okay, I'm gonna say this right now, and I think I've said it previously. I don't believe social justice warriors exist, but I don't mean that in that there are not people that, like, scream and are just horrible people about their political beliefs. No. Those people, they are without a doubt around, but I think that social justice warriors become a term that people just throw around at people. For a while, there was a time when Sargon of Akkad, a YouTuber who's known for being anti-SJW, he was banned from Twitter because he tweeted gay porn at someone. And then anyone who was like, well, he tweeted gay porn at someone, so, yeah, that's kind of, they could see why Twitter would ban him. Nope, apparently they're social justice warriors, no matter how many times they had criticized social justice warriors in the past. When you do things like that, the word loses its meaning. I would prefer if people just called those people for what they actually are, and that is they're mean jerks, and just, come on, they need to chill. But yeah, I hate it when people, sadly, US politics seems to be heading in the direction of having more and more people be like that. Oh no, they're without a doubt the kind of people that, like, you consider social justice warriors. They do exist. There is no doubt that they exist. What I have a problem with is how that term is being thrown around in contexts where it does not belong. I mean, for example, Armored Skeptic is not a social justice warrior. Just saying. But yet, he wasn't opposed to Sargon's ban from Twitter. And because of that, apparently, he went from anti-SJW to being a SJW. It's just, when you get things like that, where it's like one minor thing you do and then suddenly you become this label, that label loses its meaning. But yeah, there is no doubt that those people exist, oh my god. And they are... Yeah, you can say the same thing of any major term. That's true. And you know what? There are a lot of other terms that get thrown around. I can't remember, but there's probably a few labels for, alt-right! That's one! Oh my god, that's another one that you can throw around. The term alt-right just means alternative right. In other words, someone who's right-wing, but not the mainstream kind of right-wing. But man, that's become kind of synonymous with fascism in America, in modern political discourse, when that's not what it actually means. But that's the way people use it. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 7. I don't know. I guess what I'm just saying is people need to... I guess what I'm trying to say with all this complaining about people throwing labels at each other, and even when those labels don't apply, is just that people need to chill out. Just chill out, drink tea or coffee, whatever you prefer. It's kind of like fascists aren't alt-right, but alt-rightists aren't necessary. Fascists are alt-right, but alt-rightists aren't necessarily fascists. Yeah, that's one way to say it. That's a perfect way to say it, actually. But no, because there are some people on the right, alt-right, who hold beliefs that are fascist, therefore the entire movement is that? No, that's not the way it works. And when you do things like that, you throw around labels, try to label people things that they aren't, and especially when it's a label that people commonly associate with something very negative, it ruins. Like, how are you supposed to have a civil political debate when you do things like that? Seriously. And this is not just the left that does it. The political right do it. The right wing people do it too. Just because they don't agree with everything you say, that doesn't mean they're all these labels that you're throwing at them. Stop throwing labels at them and listen to what they say. And if you disagree, explain calmly why you disagree instead of just throwing around all these words that, quite frankly, have no place in civil discussion. I am not a Trump supporter. There are a few things that I have defended Trump for in the past, like, for example, his call with the president of Taiwan. But that does not make me a Trump supporter. No one's called me a Trump supporter yet, which I find interesting. Then again, I haven't exactly been posting that much on social media other than the updates for the paper cranes that I'm doing. I especially hate it when you get people who are so extreme about their beliefs that even if you agree with some of what they say, they're so just not nice about it that they give the entire movement that you support a bad name. Those are the worst. I know there are people like that everywhere, but it seems like those people are getting more and more in the spotlight these days. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I'll stop at 20. Is it a broad complaint? Yeah, it is a broad complaint. I mean, there's no way that it's not a broad complaint. It's a broad complaint. It applies to so many things. But I don't know. It's a broad complaint, and I can complain about it all I want. I don't know how you can fix it, though. Things just seem to be getting worse, and I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how anyone can fix it. I mean, I will try to be respectful, and I will try. I guess that's all I can really ask of people, that they try to be respectful to people who disagree with them. I know it can be hard. It is very hard. It's very easy to get upset when someone doesn't agree with what you say. Hell, there are a lot of times when I agree to get upset because someone doesn't agree with what I say. But what you gotta do is suck it up and be civil about it. You'd be surprised at the friends you can make even if the person doesn't agree with you politically. You'd be surprised at how much friends you'd be able to make if you just treat people with respect, even if they don't agree with you. I know this is a broad complaint that it applies to so many people. I feel like I'm just seeing what is necessary. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. One more. Guess I should wind this down. What should I finish on? You know what? I'm gonna try finish on a good note. Goodnewsnetwork.com. No, .org. Goodnewsnetwork.org. Let's finish on a good note, on a positive note. Huh. Denmark has gotten rid of its foreign debt. Cool. That's great for Denmark. First time it will be without foreign currency debts since 1834. Wow. Nice. I hope that Japan can eventually start doing that too. Dog rescued by drone after being trapped in mine for 5 days. Yes, that's it. That is it. Let's finish on that note. A dog being rescued from a mine after being trapped in it for 5 days. That's the positive note I want to finish on. It has absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about before. But you know what? That's okay. Oh, and that is an email. Okay. Okay, that should be 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And I'm going to finish. Alright, thank you for that. You know what? I guess I'll fold the cardboard tomorrow, not today. Okay, and I will thank you for watching. Like if you like. Please share. Sharing is probably going to help me more than liking. So, yeah, share. Please do share. And I will see you all... What's the day after tomorrow? Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. All right. Bye.